Good morning and happy Sunday. Welcome to the Sunny Daze Podcast, and I'm your host, Jolly. This week, we're bringing you a sunshine-packed roundup of all of our daily snippets to enjoy. So let's get started. Well, let's start with some Did You Know? Labor Day edition, of course. The original picnic vibes. Labor Day was first celebrated on September the 5th in 1882 in New York City. Did you know that? With a big parade and get this, a picnic that included speeches, games, and even beer gardens. Basically, the first Labor Day was a workday swap for fun and food and a little fizz. How you like that? And did you know, Canada beat us to it? While the U.S. celebrates in September, Canada was already onto this idea. They started their Labor Day in 1872, 10 years earlier, when workers marched to demand a shorter work week. So technically, the Canadians set the trend, and we kind of followed it with some style. And did you know that talk about white after Labor Day? Well, that fashion rule everyone jokes about, don't wear white after Labor Day, actually came from the early 1900s high society. White was for summer vacations, and after Labor Day, darker city clothes were to be worn. That was kind of the norm. Well, today, rock that white anytime you like, fashionista, anytime you like. And how about we move on to some entertainment? Well, what's to come in September? Alrighty, friends, let's peek at the big screen magic happening. Grab your popcorn and let's take a tour of the month's lineup, shall we? All right, first up, there's The Conjuring, Last Rites. Can't wait for it. September the 5th, it just came out 2 days ago. The Warrens are back for their final supernatural showdown. But of course, let's be real, horror franchises retire as often as your favorite band does, so hang around. And also, Septaso that just came out, Baghay 4, Tiger Shroff is flipping, kicking, and possibly inventing new laws of physics with his stunts. This Bollywood blockbuster is non-stop action. And a fun fact, Tiger does most of his stunts without wires. Pretty cool. And coming up mid-September, we've got 3 of them. The Long Walk, that'll be Stephen King's chilling dystopian tale, hits the screen about, forget couch to 5K on this one, guys. This is more like couch to cry. And fun fact, King actually wrote this when he was in his early 20s. Also out mid-month, Downtown Abbey, the grand finale. Yes, the Crawleys are back, and for one last elegant bow. Expect tea, some drama, and more chandeliers than your local lighting store. So, pinkies up, folks. All right, also about that time is going to be Spinal Tap 2. The end continues. The amps are cranked, the riffs are ridiculous, and the laughs are louder than ever. All right, closing out the month about the end, September 26th, one battle after another. Paul Thomas Anderson directs, Leo DiCaprio star, and IMAX screens everywhere. We're already flexing their muscles. This one's got some action, got some drama, and Oscar buzz is written all over it. So stay tuned. Sounds like it's going to be a good month for movies. And now, how about a Jolly Chat original we'll call The Purr and Paw Spa? Well, once upon a sunny day, there stood the most extraordinary little place in town, the Purr and Paw Spa. Let me tell you about it. At the front door, a glittery sign announced, dogs to the left and cats to the right. And underneath in curly gold letters, because everyone knows cats are always right. Let's be honest, if you ask a cat, they've known that since the beginning of time, right? The door swung open and in came the dogs. First, there was Biscuit. He's a golden retriever, wagging his tail so hard he nearly swept the welcome mat. And then there was Pickles. The beagle bounced through, ears flopping like he was auditioning for a bird role in The Lion King, those things. And finally, Sir Barkington, a bulldog in a bow tie, cleared his throat and demanded cucumber water. The spa team rushed to meet them. The spa team consisted of Truly Towlinson. She was the world's fastest dog dryer. Rumor had it she can fluff a poodle in under 60 seconds. Soapy Joe, who somehow always ended up inside the bubble bath with the dogs. And then there was Penny Paws, whose belly rubs have been known to make dachshunds roll over and snore like a tractor. Sounds like a great team, huh? Meanwhile, there is the other side of the spa, and they were lavender floated. Through the air, the cats arrived. There was Whiskerina, a Siamese queen who strutted in like she was late for her own coronation, that one. There was Pumpkin, the fluffy orange tabby who came purely for the heated blankets. And there was Shadow Mech Sneak, the sleek black cat who vanished under a curtain and poof, reappeared on the counter. Nobody asked how he got there. Nobody ever asked. Their attendants were just as colorful. There was Madame Fluffy, the royal fur stylist, who could untangle knots faster than you could say hairball. There was Leo Lippman, the mysterious ear whisperer. And there was Cassandra Candlewisp, who set out cucumber eye masks, though most cats just state them, honestly. But by the day's end, the dog smelled of oatmeal and mango conditioner. The cats sparkled like runway models, and everyone padded into the Zen Garden Lounge for a final stretch in the sun. Above them, the glittery sign twinkled again. Dogs to the left, cats to the right. But everybody leaves fabulous. Sounds like a place to visit. You know what I mean? Sounds like a place to visit. And now, if you ask me, Shadow Mech Sneak is probably still on the counter plotting his next poof. The end. And now, how about your thought to ponder? Well, the thought to ponder this week was all about perspective. What might you notice differently if, just for a day, you saw the world through borrowed eyes? So, what if it's through the eyes of an artist? You might notice the poetry in everyday life, the sunlight bouncing off a coffee cup, the hidden rhythm of the footsteps in a hallway, or even a bold splash of red in a traffic light. Every little detail would become its own masterpiece. And what if you look through the eyes of a child? You might rediscover some wonder in the smallest of things. A puddle would become a swimming pool for ants. A cardboard box would transform into a rocket ship. And clouds, they're not just weather. They'd be dinosaur castles, secret messages floating through the sky. And what if you saw things through the eyes of your pet? You might learn the art of presence. The sunbeam isn't just warm, it's bliss. The squeaky toy is pure joy. And the people you love, they aren't just family, they're the whole universe. So, here's your question of the week. Whose borrowed eyes would you choose today? And what would you hope to see? I'd have to think on that. And now, how about a feel-good story called Rhythm Beyond Sight? Well, it's a story about rhythm and the kind of spirit that makes you want to stand up and cheer. Well, during the Ganesh Chaturthi, one of India's most vibrant festivals, a group of visually impaired girls stepped forward to perform the Dal Tasha, a traditional drumming display usually reserved for big parades and celebrations. Now imagine this. Rows of girls in colorful dress, drums strapped across their chests, their sticks raised high in unison. The first beat lands, then the second, and suddenly the air is alive with thunder. And here's what makes this extraordinary. None of these girls couldn't see the crowd, the cameras, couldn't even see each other. What they followed instead was pure rhythm, heartbeat syncing, spirits connecting, and a shared love for the music that transcended sight. Their precision, their passion, Their absolute joy in each strike of the drum was so powerful that this video went viral. It gathered hundreds of thousands of views in just a couple of days. And what did people see in it? Not disability, not limitation. They saw celebration, resilience pounding out in every beat, passion echoing across the festival grounds, and devotion that shook not just the drums, but the hearts of everyone watching. It was more than a performance. It was a reminder that happiness isn't about what you lack. It is about what you share. And these girls shared everything they had in those rhythms: strength, joy, and a sound that said, "We are here, we are music, and we are celebration." So, what rhythm are you going to be putting into the world this week? And who might you inspire, even if you never know they're listening? Well, thanks so much for spending some time here in the sunshine with me. And until next Sunday, keep your heart light, keep your thoughts bright, and may your days be just a little more sunny.